Hey, my name's Rich, and I guess I've been documenting my life, relationship, and business lessons of late here on YouTube. I don't come from a place or a position of I know better. Instead, I come from a place of I've tried these things, and here's the things that I've perhaps learned, experienced, or the lessons behind it. So here they are for you. If you learn something from it, great. If you don't, and this is a colossal waste of your time, then I'm sorry. As I travel through my day and working in, the businesses that my wife and I have, just in general conversation, that I'm having with people, my mind is sparked with things that, I love to share. And probably, perhaps like yourself, I love to get a sense that the lessons and the knowledge that I'm accruing is not just sat with me. I like the idea that, we're sharing knowledge. And I feel like that's a part of my own personal purpose, on what people might say, God's green earth. And I like to do that, with my family. I like to do that with the clients and the business partnerships that we've got. And I thought, why not share this with other people as well? So it might be useful. So if you do find, this useful, you can comment, you can like the video, you can subscribe if you feel that way inclined. If not, you just want to watch from afar and take this stuff in, then have at it. But the thing I've been inspired to, come and talk about and I guess document today is based on I'll stop fiddling with that blue tack. Do you know what? You have these sort of little things on your desk. I don't know if anyone you get to fiddling and you just can't put it down. It feels so good in the hands. Point of inspiration today comes from a conversation that I just had with a married couple. They're in business together, and I would consider them friends as well as, business associates, a business that we look after, clients, I guess. And they have a fitness business, and it's been growing, really nicely over these past few years. And they're now in the position of where they've just gained an additional location. So their second physical location for their fitness business. And they actually open, as of the day of recording this, the second location opens in 69 days, which is really exciting. And one of the topics that we got to, meandering around, and a point of discussion was how effective their team can be, as in staff members, as in once they get into their third, their fourth, their fifth, their sixth location. And I posed the question to them. And I said, what is the number one, number two, number three thing that makes a team perform well, that has them execute, and be in a state of high performance? And they shared their own perspectives, which are fucking brilliant, what they shared. Now, by my experience, through, like I say, my wife and I running our own businesses. Once upon a time, for a short period of time, I was also in the British military. I had a life, running my own thing as well as working in the family business. Before I was in the British military, I've done a number of other things. You probably ask how many. I've lost count. I've not got enough fingers or toes. I like to try things. Point being, there are some commonalities that I saw inside of the team structures, whether it was in the military or whether it was, inside of businesses, or whether it's in the thing that, that we've been doing ourselves. And the number one trait and characteristic about a team that made it perform well was always camaraderie first. Always. Ensuring that the team, the people, that's what it is, individuals are all singing on the same hymn sheet. They are strumming the same sound. They are vibrating on the same level or as close as damn it, because that's what creates harmony. It's what creates a great sound to the outside world. And when you can get humans on the same page and there's that internal monologue and often just a communication that happens invisibly between humans, that is a dangerous team. You know, that is a dangerous team. They can do some really amazing things together just through that one thing alone, that camaraderie. We're all in this together. Sometimes teams need a common enemy in order to get them onto the same page. You know, they often need a common mission, something to point their energy towards, as well as having that enemy of why it's important to get to that mission. But camaraderie, you know, is, you know, in larger organizations that understand the dynamic of, you know, team performance, it's probably quite common. In the military, again, very common. And it happens quite invisibly. And maybe the word camaraderie isn't used that often. I'm not too sure. It's been a long time since I served. But if you're maybe a smaller business owner, maybe you're growing, you know, a little bit like, you know, the clients I've referenced for this, you know, inspiration to create this video, it's important for you to understand how often the make or break situation and the performance of the business and how happy the humans are and the mission that they're pointing towards and how they execute on that is predicated by this bond, this camaraderie, this tie and togetherness. And if there is a void of that, is non-existent, or if there's a toxic air about what is happening inside of that team, it falls to bits. That's the first thing. Second thing that I expressed to them both was there has to be a clear understanding of the hierarchical structure inside of the team. This comes with a caveat, which I'll get onto into just a second. But without having a structure and people knowing who to go to for what, who has the final say-so, who carries more of a following role, who has, you know, the leadership roles, nothing gets done. No one understands where their position is, where their stance is, whether they are pulling, whether they are directing, none of it. Again, it all falls to bits. Camaraderie, hierarchical structure. Now, the caveat with the structure, the internal structure of a team and the dynamic of it is when you get to a certain level, and depending on the who's and the type of business, it serves really well to spend time of where there's no rank. There's no rank of where perhaps it's particular types of team meetings, you know, round tables, you know, you might want to call them, of where everybody has an equal say. So it doesn't matter whether that person is the cleaner, whether they are the person that does the selling on the shop floor, whether they are the marketing, whether they are in sales, whether they are, you know, the CEO or the managing director, you all sit and it doesn't matter about rank. So everybody can give their perspective. Because if I was to ask, you know, a room of people, you know, what do you see? The person like yourself looking at this pen would say, well, you know, I see a green whiteboard pen. And I would say, oh, that's interesting because that's not what I see. I know that's a really basic example, but the basics are what are missed inside of this lack of transparency and this lack of ability within a team dynamic of where there is hierarchical structure, of where the person who has been given leadership often neglects the fact that those that maybe don't carry as much rank or weight often have some of the most powerful insights that we're not getting to see if we're at the top of the pile because we're not in the trenches, we're not on the shop floor doing the thing, delivering the product, the service, selling the goods, or whatever that might look like. Now, it takes some practice. I've seen some teams crumble from trying this for the first time because there might be some ego attached, to dropping rank. And some people may be being scared of the ramifications of what might happen post no rank team meeting or round table if they voice something. So it takes practice, is again what I've seen. So camaraderie, hierarchical structure. The third thing is time spent together. Time spent together. Now, this part of this slots really neatly into camaraderie, because you could argue that, to build camaraderie, you need to do team building and, things like this. But just general time spent together, understanding each other is vital. And again, just because it's an easy example, when I served in the military, we did multiple personality testing, DISC assessments, and these type of things. And I roll my eyes, and I did roll my eyes at the time of doing them. Like, what is the fucking point of this? As a younger, not so wise younger man. And now I look back and I think it's fucking genius. And we do this personality testing when we bring new clients into our consultancy business, because to understand a person as much as possible through their own expression and then through a canvas testing, such as DISC assessment, whether it's a Myers-Briggs test or something like that, anything, it can just give us an extra percentile of understanding about how a person thinks, how they feel in certain situation, what happens when they're in a stress state, what happens when they're in a calm state, what are the traits of this individual. That third piece there from a team dynamic is inexplainably powerful. Because all of a sudden you go from maybe not spending time with a person and having a certain feeling or attitude towards them, and then maybe on that particular team meeting they share about their personality test assessment, their DISC assessment, their Myers-Briggs, and they share some personal insight about the truth behind some of it, or maybe they're not resonating with certain parts of it, and maybe then others share on their perspective of what they've given, and all of a sudden you build these bonds, these friendships, of where then outside of the work environment, people want to spend more time together. I never fucking realised you were into that so much. I never realised you had such a strong stance and perspective on this way of doing things. I never knew you had that, glimmer in your eye about that particular thing that you shared in the team meeting. That's amazing. Can I give you a call after work? Of course you can. Very, very powerful. And again, my observations of these three things predominantly were when I was in the military. Very powerful stuff. But then I saw all of this being played out exceptionally in some companies and then abysmally, in others. And there's something you can take away from this. In my opinion, you can take away from this personally. If right now, you run your own business, how can you integrate some of this, even just a portion of it? How can you finally break the ice on something? And maybe you're nodding along with this and going, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Or, yeah, I'd love to do that. Or we're already doing a portion of this, but those other two things sound really good. Or we're doing 2 out of the 3, whatever combination it is. Put those 3 together. I promise you'll see, just as I have over the years, you'll see people just, I don't know what the word is, I can't find the word right now, but you'll just see people just getting on with shit. With less abrasiveness, more cohesion, more effective. What's the Tom Cruise film? Are you guys still an effective team? Yes, we are. Yes, we are an effective team. So anyway, I thought I would share that with you today. I thought that might be useful. I thought it might be quite utilitarian, whether it's something you take into your personal life and maybe you assess yourself and how you can be more useful in your career, your business, or just in your personal life. Or maybe you're a business owner that hasn't even considered some of this, and how you can utilize that, to make your team more effective, for your mission and what lays ahead. All right. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you soon.